flint work tonight. Flame, and oh, surprise, out of the rock comes light and fire, and so the same, wow, resurrection, out of death comes life, out of Good Friday comes Easter Sunday, the wonder, the surprise of the gift. You know, it's how to incorporate this into our lives, this new reality, this new existence. You know, we're all born with an operating system. It's like a computer. We all have this operating system, and it needs to continually be upgraded. You know, if we're, as an infant, has certain tasks in it, it's very me-centered. I need what I need. But then you need an upgrade to become a part of the family. It's not just about me, it's about the we. So I go from infancy to being a child, and then further upgrades that continue as we move into from childhood into adolescence and into the teenage, and it's time to start, you know, the upgrade towards creating one's own home and moving on and going into life and forming family, and then into midlife. And a lot of these times throughout these, we fail to upgrade. There's crisis, there's crashes, there's something missing. We try to fill this missing with the wrong system, and there's further mangling and feelings of anxiety or feelings of loss or emptiness, and into later years as we dealing with issues of suffering and sickness and death itself, and how to, what's that further upgrade that enables me to live life as it's meant to be lived from a deeper place, a deeper well. And the great gift that we come here for in our faith is that to upload and that life of God, that life of faith, the life of wisdom. You know, as scientists tell us that, you know, of course, we only say, sometimes we say we only use 10% of our brain. Of course, the reality is, you know, that's for our rational consciousness. But as people study the brain, and I'll come to realize that other 90%, what is that for? We say, and that's for wisdom. That's for understanding meaning. It's for understanding the mystery of the struggle with life and death and love, and how to make sense of our existence. And that's what that rest of it is for. And yet, if we're not part of the continuing uploading of further operating what we need in order to live in our world, then we can be at a loss. We can feel there's, and we can have, once again, those times of crashing and loss and emptiness. And here is this wonderful gift that our Lord extends to us as we gather here, and to upload His heart, His life, His vision, His wisdom. And of course, that is really what, throughout the years, what myth and legend, the purpose of it is, it's speaking, having us become, that we're meant to be part of a bigger existence than our own individual ones. We're meant to be part of a greater life than our own small lives. We're meant to be a part of this life of the universe, the life of God's kingdom, the life of that God intends for His creation, and how we embrace that, and how we become a part of that. And that's why those great stories speak about once upon a time. In other words, they're not just about a particular time, a particular place, but for all times and all places. You know, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be. The great stories of faith, the great life in which our God is calling us to be a part of, a greater story than our own. And when we don't have that, when we don't experience that, then we can feel there's something missing. I haven't uploaded, my operating system is still functioning in a place and in a way that is me-centered. I've tried to fill it with things. I'm operating for self. I'm not, and there needs to be something more. And we realize there's something lacking. And that's this wonderful gift of Easter faith, of Easter life, that embraces the reality of Good Friday, the reality of the cross, the reality of suffering, the reality of of life and love and service, and helps to see how it is meant, our lives are meant to be a part of this great project of God's life, restoring and renewing and becoming a part of the building up of His kingdom. So I'd like to, take this, as I've shared at the beginning, and make the rest of the Easter season will be how to apply this, how to live this, how to continually update our operating systems. And that's what the theme of this rest of the Easter season will be about, how to allow this life of God, life of discipleship, to become more a part of who we are, what we are, as the life of our Lord, who took His disciples and helped them to become other Christ, which is what it means to be a Christian, to be fully alive, fully human, a child of God, a brother and sister of each and every person on the earth. And so part of Easter, of course, is the great story of resurrection, of new life. And there's many ways in which the story is able to be expressed and experienced. And we have a nice little story, a drama that we're going to share with you tonight. And I have some of my actors and actresses here who are going to help with that. They can come out now as they take their places. The name of the story is The Ragman. Listen carefully to the story I'm about to tell you. I saw a strange sight. I stumbled upon a story most strange, like nothing my life, my street sense, nor my sly tongue had ever prepared me for. It was before dawn, early one Friday morning. I noticed a young man, handsome and strong, walking the alleys of our city. He was carrying a bag filled with clothes and cloths both bright and new, and he was calling in a clear tenor voice, "Rags, rags, rags.
Rags, rags, rags.
New rags for old, I take your tired rags.
New rags for old, I take your tired rags."
The air was foul, and the first light of dawn was filthy to be crossed by such a clear voice. Now this is a wonder, I thought to myself, for the man stood tall, and his arms were like tree limbs, both hard and muscular. And his eyes flashed bright with intelligence and understanding. Could he find no better job than this, to be a ragman in the inner city? I followed him. My curiosity drove me, and I wasn't disappointed. Soon the ragman saw a couple women sitting on the back porch. They were sobbing into a handkerchief, sighing and shedding 1,000 tears. Their shoulders shook. Their heart was breaking. The ragman stopped. Quietly he walked to the women, stepping around tin cans, broken toys, and garbage cans. I listened to what he had to say. "Let me have your rag, and I'll give you another."
Let me have your rag, and I'll give you another.
He said this so gently. He slipped the handkerchief from their eyes. They looked up, and he laid across their palms a linen cloth so clean and new that it shined. They blinked from the gift to the giver. Then as he began to walk away, the ragman did a strange thing. He put their stained handkerchiefs to his own face. Then he began to weep, to sob as grievously as they had, his shoulders shaking. Yet they were left behind without a tear. This is a wonder, I thought to myself, and I followed the sobbing ragman like a child who cannot turn away from a mystery. "Rags, rags, new rags for old," he continued to call out.
Rags, rags, new rags for old.
In a little while, when the sky began to show gray behind the rooftops, the ragman came upon a girl whose head was bandaged, wrapped in a bandage, whose eyes were empty. Blood soaked her bandage. A single line of blood ran down her cheek. Now the tall ragman looked upon this child with pity, and he drew a lovely bonnet from his bag. I heard him as he said, "Give me your rag, and I'll give you mine."
Give me your rag, and I'll give you mine.
The child could only gaze at him while he loosened the bandage, removed it, and tied it to his own head. The bonnet he set on hers. and I gasped at what I saw, for with a bandage went the wound. From his forehead ran a deeper, more substantial blood, his own. And he continued to call out, "Rags, rags, I take old rags."
Rags, rags, I take old rags,
cried the sobbing, bleeding, yet still strong and intelligent Ragman. The sun hurt the sky now, and my eyes were burning from the light. The Ragman seemed more and more in a hurry. He came to a man leaning against a pole, and he asked him, "Are you going to work? Do you have a job?"
Are you going to work? Do you have a job?
The man shook his head. "Are you crazy?" he sneered.
Are you crazy?
He pulled away from the wall, revealing the sleeve of his jacket, flat, the cuff stuffed into the pocket. He had no arm. So the Ragman said to him, "Give me your jacket, and I'll give you mine."
Give me your jacket, and I'll give you mine.
Such quiet authority in his voice. The one-armed man took off his jacket, and so did the Ragman, and I trembled at what I saw. For the Ragman's arm stayed in the jacket he gave the man. And the man put it on. He had two good arms, but the Ragman now had only one. And the Ragman said, "Now you can go to work."
And now you can go to work.
After that he found someone who was drunk, lying unconscious beneath an old army blanket. An old man, hunched, shriveled, and sick. The Ragman took the blanket and wrapped it around himself. Removing his drunkenness and sickness, leaving the old man with a new suit of clothes, with sobriety and with good health. And now I had to run to keep up with the Ragman. Though he was weeping uncontrollably and bleeding freely from the forehead, carrying his bag with one arm, stumbling from drunkenness, falling again and again, exhausted, old, and sick. And yet he went very fast. He moved through the alleys of the city until he came to its limits, and then he rushed beyond. I wept seeing the change in this man. I hurt to see his sorrow, and yet I hated to see where he was going in such haste, perhaps to know what drove him so. The little old Ragman, he came to a landfill, he came to a garbage dump, and he wanted to help him, but I hung back, hiding. He climbed a hill. With tormented labor, he cleared a little space on that hill. Then he sighed, he lay down, he lowered his head. He covered his old bones with a blanket, and he died. Oh, how I cried to witness that death. I slumped in a heap and wailed and mourned as one who has no hope, because I had come to love the Ragman. Every other face had faded in the wonder of this man, and I cherished him, but he died. I cried myself to sleep. I did not know, how could I know, that I slept through Friday night and Saturday night too. But then on Sunday morning, I was wakened by light. Light, pure, hard, penetrating light, shined against my face. And I blinked and I looked and I saw the first wonder of all. There was the Ragman, folding the blanket most carefully, a scar on his forehead, but alive and healthy. There was no sign of sorrow or age, and all the rags that he had gathered now shined for cleanliness. Then I lowered my head, and trembling for all that I had seen, I myself walked up to the Ragman. I told him my name with shame, for I was a sorry figure next to him. Then I looked into his eyes, and I said to him with a deep yearning in my voice, "Change me." And he changed me, and he healed me, and he gave me the greatest gift. He gave me new rags, and showed me the rags that I have to give. Wearing these rags and the rags of others, I am indeed a source of beauty and mercy, a wonder to behold, a wonder to myself, the Ragman, the Christ. transforming power of the love, the sacrificial love of our Lord that brings healing into lives, brings hope, restoration, gives us that faith, hope, and love to be able to do the same and to become part of that greater story, that greater life into which our Lord invites us, and that story that becomes part of history, and hopefully is a part of our individual stories as well. Wait for our altar service to get back. So, transform, who take the struggles, those things, those areas in our life that are worn rags, or those wounds, those hurts, those blemishes, those, that the Lord, to incorporate them into a greater whole, to bring wholeness where there's brokenness, to bring love where there's been experiences of sadness, or lack of love, and that's the transforming power. So what the Lord accomplished on Holy Thursday and Good Friday, and the fruits of it that shine forth on this beautiful Easter Sunday. At this time, we're now moving to the rite of initiation.